Oh my lordy, it's Jacob Elordi.
Hey.
Spoiler alert, we watched Wuthering Heights.
Yes, the new film from Emerald Fennell, which is her third film. I really, I don't know how you feel about this, but I really dislike this movie. I thought it was a complete hollow shell, but that's my thought.
Of the book?
I haven't read the book, so this is the thing. I feel like
he hasn't read a book. He's gonna review a movie. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna review. I feel like I'm the perfect person to review this movie because I'm completely just reviewing the movie itself. I have no thoughts on the book at all because I have not read it. But I thought this was a complete hollow shell of a romance with almost nothing interesting about it other than the visuals.
He just described Wuthering Heights.
You
Wow,
didn't like
spot
it
on.
either?
You don't even need to read the book at this point.
Oh wow, that's the book too. Really,
I mean, it's a little bit more erotic.
a little bit more. Oh, okay. So I thought this movie, it was interesting. When I went and saw it, there was 4 people in the theater, and the first time you see Margot Robbie masturbate, half of them left.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They got up and left. It was hilarious. That really happened. I was like, oh, why did they not expect this? I don't know what's happening. I mean, I expected it to be very erotic just based on the trailer, and I hadn't heard anything about the book, but...
Just get the Spark Notes version of it.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on Wuthering Heights?
I'm just gonna look at the movie as from a moviegoer standpoint. And what I always try to do, I try to find a meaning in a movie, even if there is none. But this had some really interesting symbolism that kind of goes in with the theme of the book, which is life and death. Mm-hmm. It's this whole idea of the story of these two people who know that they should be together, but Kathy goes against her own soul wishes and decides to succumb to her passions and lust and in many ways. So she goes back to Heathcliff in a lustful way, and they do all of this, still dragging him along, and he decides to then go off the deep end and try to get her back.
Do some
doesn't
nasty
work.
things. Yeah. It's you described the movie perfectly, and it's unfortunate to me that story is fine, but I don't feel like it warrants its almost 2.5 hour runtime. This movie felt excruciatingly long for how little it kind of went through the development of these characters. I was shocked at how long this felt. I mean, it's 2:15, 2:16, and it felt like 4 hours for me. I was sitting there, rubbing my eyes, trying not to fall asleep at many points. I really liked the opening. I thought it opened very strong, and then it immediately falls off.
I was able to stay awake the entire time. It was maybe tad too long, but it wraps up. It wraps up.
I like the ending.
And you like the ending for the ending, or because you could leave?
Both.
Okay. No, it was well put together. I think Margot Robbie was actually a producer on it. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a passion project, and that you want to see a book that we read in our childhood come alive. And I think they do a good job, and the imagery is beautiful. The way that the pictures are taken it's really nice, actually. I think the color scheme and the symbolism in how this is supposed to represent a transformation of 2 different people and coming together as one, as they should have always been one, but they were fragmented and turned into their selves who were separate and were pushed away, and they really wanted to be together, even though some of the actions taken by the characters push them farther apart. And it tells a story about who you want to see, who's the hero of this. Well, I mean, at some point Kathy is the hero, but then she comes out as a villain, as she starts as this innocent, and then becomes just like anyone else, overcome with passion, and is unable to reel that in, and it then kills you. Then not having good people around you that want to see you rise, that prefer to see you fall, like the maid character, Mimi.
Oh, yes.
Mimi?
Yeah. I believe it was Mimi.
And, it's just unfortunate that when you don't have, this good energy and you're hiding yourself, you're you're not breathing into who you truly are, and then it kind of just is disastrous, and everyone kind of feels it in this.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to put it. I think visually the movie's very striking. There's some photography in this that it's absolutely stunning at times. And the production design is fantastic. Like the Wuthering Heights house, I thought was a brilliant way to kind of show the slow collapse of the relationship. I thought that was a really great visual way to show that. I mean, you start off, he's a lord. He's not her dad's an alcoholic, a gambler. He's pissing away the money, and it's a great parallel to show between him and this relationship how it's going. Because like at its peak, it was when they were kids, right? Their kids were the peak, and then kind of when they were still being like playful as adults, and then almost the second she leaves and he comes back, the house is completely and utterly destroyed, and it never gets fixed again, even after he buys it. Because he's like not making an effort to fix it. He's just making an effort to probably make it worse, really.
To be there.
Yeah, just to be there. So I love that visually, and I think Emerald Fennell is a very competent visual storyteller. It's just, for me, it just comes down to the screenplay, like the writing. I'm interested to hear what you like got out of this subtextually, meaningfully, because I almost felt like there was nothing. Like I really struggled to glean anything from this beyond a very surface level relationship that doesn't get more complicated than I like her and she likes me, but we can't be together, so we hate each other and we fight.
Sure. I mean, maybe that's a good surface level way to look at it, but I think you, when you really listen to what they're saying, it makes a whole lot of sense. He clocks it. Heathcliff even tells Kathy, what she's doing. She's become this evil. She's not. She's going away from what her soul wants, and it clocks it right on the head. Where it's you know what you want, but you're so, and it gets you. When you look, I'll bring it back to like the color scheme again, but it shows from the beginning, how it changes from this black and white checkerboard floor in the Wuthering Heights home to her new home with the red floor. It kind of shows you where she is. From the beginning, it's this like, life is black and white, it's good and bad, and then it turns into this mess that they just kind of live through. They're swimming in blood.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so as far as, does it get deeper? I think so, a little bit. But then again, it is this love story. It's this telling about this, how it doesn't really show in the movie how he came into being. Heathcliff even showed up. I don't really recall the first little bit about how he showed up under the bed, whatever. But he's part of the family, and it kind of goes full circle in the end where he's with her in bed, but she's gone. She's been saying this whole time that she's going to die, that she's dying, it's going to kill her, and it does. It absolutely does. So it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy of that. There's the reminder that we should follow our soul's desire, even if it's not materially in our best interest. And so what she comes to is this need for security, and this need for warmth and a hearth and a fire and nice clothes and the jewels. And you can see progressively as it comes to this culminating point where she is then cloaked in red. She starts with this nice pure white dress. White symbolizes purity. And it gets a little speckled with red, a little bit here. The jewels that she wears start as this little itty bitty rubies, and then they grow into these big and rubies, kind of symbolizing she's getting deeper and deeper into this pit. Where when Heathcliff shows back up in her life, she doesn't know how to handle it, so immediately she succumbs again to her passions and just has an affair with him every day and in every place conceivable on Earth, apparently. Like in the forest, on the beach, on the moon,
in their carriage.
In the carriage, out of the carriage, they made love everywhere. And so she was completely incapable of reeling it in until the end, when it starts to more of a climax point where it starts to rain and it washes away their but the damage had already been done.
Yeah.
So it washes away all the problems. They're in love, but he still has to go, and it's not his child, but he's always an arm's length away, and so he runs away, but not meaning to, because he's still always there, always writing to her, never truly left her side, but she didn't have the people around her or her own self to actually go to him and do what was right. So, and ultimately it killed her. So, and I think we can all kind of draw metaphors for how that, I think we should all pursue our passions, and we should all try to strive for, mending our soul and not stepping away from those things that are drawing us, but accepting who we are, and hopefully we can, even if it's not materially in your best interest, you can have more joy in your life.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the first bit of the movie is the strongest, between, like you said, that I think if I'm remembering right, the father goes off on a drinking escapade and just brings Heathcliff home. Just like one, I think that he says like, oh yeah, there's a guy at the bar who's like, I don't want the kid, and he said, I'll take him. I think
it reminds me. I can't remember. I haven't read the book since like 5th grade or something.
Yeah, no, and I haven't read it at all. But I think that's what happens in the movie, at least. And from there, I like their bond as children, sort of like, because she's just like this prissy, noble woman girl, and he's the commoner guy, and she's teaching him how to read and how to talk and how to be proper and stuff. And I like that bond. And as soon as they turn into adults, it completely falls flat for me, because instead of showing these moments of little like tender intimacies where he gets beat by the father and she goes and sleeps with him to comfort him, that goes completely out the window. As soon as they become adults, there's never a moment like that other than them just having sex. And maybe that's the point, is that everything about their relationship from when they actually realize they're in love on is just purely surface level. I don't think that's the point, but because like they keep talking about how deep it is and how much it means to them and how it's their souls.
But they never have a chance to go deep in it, because they're at that surface level where all we can do to connect is this moment of flesh on flesh. When I leave and then you leave, I'm gonna go back into a bed with another man.
With my husband.
Yeah. And so they can't seemingly ever get to that level, although there is that soul connection that they've had since forever.
Yeah.
But it also creates this kind of like, she doesn't realize, and even really towards the end, that he was his own person. He was always, and they pointed it out. The father pointed out he's always property to her. It was always like he was the project, like Frankenstein's monster or something. It reminds you.
Her pet, I think.
Or the pet. He says you'll always be her pet, and he kind of realizes that that's actually the truth in a way, and he starts to believe it, and then it becomes the truth. I think this is a good book to turn into a movie. It's a great adaptation, I think.
Okay.
So what can you fit? It's hard. Adaptations are some of the hardest things, I think, just because you have to be accurate, because people will come for you.
Right.
Yes. And then people will, so it's important to do it justice, and I think symbolically it did a pretty good job. Maybe when even because it's a different medium, right? It was a good one. I'd give it maybe 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's
visually for visual effects. For the writing was actually good, in my opinion. So I would give it a good score.
Okay, yeah, that's I expected it to be a little bit higher, so a 6.5. I'm actually not super far off. I sound much worse than you, but I'd probably say it's like a 5. I think it's perfectly average. Aside from the really stunning visuals, if it was just a movie like, oh, it's a pretty, generic love story with stunning visuals, I'd probably be around a 6. But for me, that relationship and the dynamic and the constant back and forth of basically doing the same thing over and over again for the last hour really started to grate on my nerves.
So my closing thoughts are just this: follow your
heart.
passions.
Sure.
No. Don't follow your lust. Follow your heart.
Yes.
Let your heart be your guide. And everything you do. And if you're unsure of yourself, pick what feels right.